Good morning, everybody. This is Byron Lehman, and it is early morning right now. So I'm glad you were able to tune in to the Jittery Goat YouTube channel. I also have a website. It's entitled The Jittery Goat. It's at jitteryg.com. That's where you'll find the links to my links to my books, and also you'll find short stories on the website. So please go over there and take a gander if you would. I'd appreciate it. Also, I'll mention this at the very beginning. Please leave comments, if you would, in the comment section, and also hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that. Um, I remember a couple episodes ago that I mentioned I could only think of one short story that I wrote in first person. Well, guess what? I found another short story that I wrote in first person, and that's one I'm going to link to. If I found another one in first person, I'm sure there's probably others too. The name of the short story is Phone Calls Interrupted by Life. And it's about a couple that their relationship, they're a man and woman, a young couple, I guess. And the phone call gets in the way of their relationship, the cell phone. And so, anyway, that's the basis of the story, and I'll let you read the rest of it as you get there. It's not very long. It's a short story. And usually my short stories are less than 500 words, and I'm sure this is too. I wrote it again. It seems like everything I've written is maybe 10 years ago, but it does seem to me like it's been about 10 years ago. That when I was doing a lot of writing on a WordPress site, my WordPress site, and I submitted it to the daily prompt. And WordPress, whoever read it, WordPress found it interesting. They liked it, and so they gave me some sort of special recognition for it. And I can't remember what it was, but anyway, they liked it, and perhaps you'll like it too. And as a writer, just to pass this on, when I wrote that, I didn't think there was much to it myself. I thought it was, like I said, it's low-hanging fruit. Everybody can write about cell phones. I didn't think it was particularly interesting. However, somebody liked it, or maybe a group of people liked it, and they decided to give it this special recognition. And but I was happy that it was, and that when I reread it, I could say, well, I guess it's okay. But it wasn't anything great. At least I didn't think so. And there's other times when we really sweat it out. We really put something into a story, and it just seems like nobody likes it, or they don't get it, or there's something that it doesn't receive the recognition that you thought it should. In fact, it's much better than everybody else's short story, and that sometimes happens. But the lesson of this story, and again, I never went for a deep lesson on this at all. However, I think we've all been in a situation where we're talking to somebody and their cell phone rings, and you're about ready to get to your punchline, and they have to take this call. And it is rude in a way. What did we do so many years ago when we didn't have cell phones? Unless we were at our desk, oftentimes the phone rang so loud we'd have to do something to take care of it. But now we have on vibrate or a little buzz and so forth. But we have to make a snap decision, of course, when we're talking to someone. Is this really an important call or not? Now, if it is, you politely tell the person, I got to get this. Oh, and step away. I never like to talk to the person on the cell phone in front of another person. That's like having a private conversation. If it's important, tell the person it's important, and step away and say, I'll be back as soon as, but be back as soon as you can, okay? Keep your word. Sometimes when that's done to us, when somebody picks up grabs their cell phone, we feel second class. Sometimes if it's, especially if they go on and you can tell they're laughing and having a good time, and as if your conversation wasn't important. So it's a matter of etiquette. It's sometimes we just have to think about, and maybe think about ahead of time. What can we do if we get into this situation, knowing that certainly it hurts our feelings sometimes, and what could that person do to alleviate or make us feel better about being interrupted? And we emulate that. We say, well, that's what I'd like to have done to me. So I'll do it to the other person. I'll act politely. I'll not answer the phone or whatever it happens to be. Um, I just remember this kind of crossed my mind as I was getting this information together. When cell phones were not such a, when they were a big deal, they're not such a big deal right now. Everybody has them. And I'm going to say almost 30 years ago, I was in an airport, and those long hallways that go to the different gates. And sometimes, when the flights are coming in and going out and so forth, there's a lot of traffic there. And I remember there was this businessman, nicely dressed and so forth, in a suit, and he had down beside him, he had a briefcase and had a jacket, or had his coat slung over his arm, and had this cell phone and one of these, so everybody can see. And he was talking so loud, and right in the middle, and people had to walk around him, and or almost bumping into him, and hey, come on, can't you see I'm on the phone? Okay, we get it. You have a cell phone, we don't. You're important, we aren't. And that's the impression I got. Again, like I said, that might have been the only place he'd get a signal at. But anyway, health. It seemed to be a status symbol, and which reminded me of yet another story that my wife and I, my daughter and the son-in-law, we were in a restaurant and sitting down for a meal, and the place wasn't very crowded at all. And 4 or 5 tables away was these 2 guys, and this one guy, his cell phone rings, and he picks it up, and he's just talking again, just so loud and drawing attention to himself. And there's this guy that's 3 feet away. It's. I mean, you don't have to talk any louder than that on a cell phone because it's right up here. But yet he was talking so loud you could hear him all over the room. And I was almost at the point of asking the waiter or waitress, "Can you tell the guy just to, I don't know." Certainly, if he was that loud in a regular conversation, just with that guy, I don't know. It just, but again, it was kind of drawing attention to himself. Hey, I got a cell phone. I'm an important person. People are calling me all the time because they need my help. I always thought that was the thing, but now everybody has cell phones, and so it's not as big of a deal. But however, there is an importance to some sort of etiquette. Now, am I the person to go to ask for advice? No, because I've certainly made my share of faux pas in my life when it comes to things like this, and I'll probably break all the rules sometime in the future. But it's something that we can think about. Now, if you're a writer and you're looking for things to write about, well, there's plenty of things out there that kind of grind our gears or crumble our cookies or twist our undies, and we can write about those things. However, as a writer, when we find things like that, it's important that we don't write from a position of being angry. And that's what this story here, I'm certainly not angry. There's sort of a humorous take to it. And keep that in mind if you're writing, because nobody likes to read or hear a cranky person complain about something. So if you are writing about it, write about it in such a way that you're above the fray, so to speak, that you're not really that it doesn't really bother you, but is something that is of concern. Never from a position of anger or being cranky about something. There's some writers that can pull that off, but no, not all of them. Andy Rooney was great at that. He was just a cranky old man. You know what bothers me? He'd go on, and sometimes that can be humorous. But even Andy Rooney, you never got the feeling he was really angry at something. He was just bringing something out. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the short story. Once again, the link is going to be down there in the description section of this video. And once again, I'm going to ask you to, if you would, leave comments in the comments section. And also, if you would too, please hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that, and please do so. So just remember this in closing. Do good stuff, read good stuff, write good stuff, and by all means, see good stuff in others. And we'll see you next time.